because it's been held back and it's been seeping out in little clips. So that's like a leak before a dam break. That little sprout of water in the cartoon before it ruptured the whole dam. Hey, you can't stick your finger in there and plug this one up, right?
Right.
So the exposure, um, based off of the messages I'm getting, is it's imminent. But I can't give a date because I'm not allowed to see the future dates. I can only read the real time, and then I can do a mathematical probability. I can also do what they call a stellar alignment probability, according to the alignment of the stars. But for those who want more information, you can ask the oracle readers, the card readers, and the psychics, because at the time now, the energy level is so high that the accuracy levels is higher than they ever been in modern history. They haven't been this accurate since they was hijacked by the Romans in Greece in as oracle priests of Delphi. Right? They were accurate like they are now back then. And when the Romans took over Greece, the accuracy diminished until now it's returning. So you can ask oracles to do card reads on these current events and what do they indicate, and they're gonna all give you a general time frame to work from based off the movement of the energy. Some of them gonna be so latched on to the energy, it's gonna be like binge watching your favorite TV show. They gonna keep coming back every day doing spreads on the same energy because they'll see the changes that fast in the oracle read. A lot of times when I tell people that don't understand what I'm saying, I say refer to the oracles and ask them if my information is correct, because what you can't see with the spiritual eye, you looking physically, they can see spiritually what I'm telling you, and then they can tell you physically what it's going to mean, because they're catching the energy as it's changing in real time, and they're using the focal point of whatever their oracle style is. Some tea readers, some read runes, some read cards, some read entrails, some read nuts, some read shells, but they all got their own way of interpreting those energy signatures that's coming in from spirit, right?
Yes, and I'm kind of running while you're speaking. I'm running about four different readers on the information about four different ones I know do reading. So you might want to reach
Mm.
out. But there are folks
Oh,
that are on YouTube that are doing daily. You
yeah.
know,
So my some of my favorite tarot readers is Blue Rose Tarot has uncanny accuracy. Also, I listen to Brittany Madison, who has an uncanny accuracy. She's actually done spreads on the because and she did some other reads too. I asked her to do a couple of other reads and she done them. Um then you also, it's a sister on here who's looking at the organic side of the tribal side, named Chief Janace. She's pretty intuitive and coming from more of an academic angle from her intuition, and she's sharing information. There's a couple more of them. I don't have them all off the top of my head like that because I'm horrible with names, as hard as I might be to. But those are just some of the ones that I listen to who has uncannily accurate information, and I can also use the information to go into more detail. What to do? So I have to do it because there's nobody else that knows what to do. But when they mentioned me fighting for Larry, I've been telling them the whole time I'm a GD. They say I never met Larry. How many GDs do you know that has? Most, he been locked up most of our lives. They got GDs right now that's 8 years old. Bang hard for that shit.
And he's been locked up since he was 17?
I don't know, he's been locked up 50 something years.
That's still a long time. That's still a long time.
Yeah, it is. But that don't take away the loyalty for the chief. That's my chief. Period. So I'm gonna fight for my chief because it's right. Right? And if they don't like it, that's their business. You know what I'm saying? But as long as, I don't mind. People got an absolute right to disagree with me. This is what they don't get. This is why my feathers don't get ruffled. If I expect everybody everywhere I go to agree with me, I'll be a goddamn fool. Right? And I don't have to agree with everybody either. The only thing we really need to be agreeing on right now is we organic to the land. We got an invader here that's occupying the land as if we not here. And the only remedy we have is somebody with the blood ties to the land and the right to overthrow the system to speak up and put it in the public domain. Right? I don't got to do nothing else. I already did the work. I'm just telling everybody the work been done. Right? I'm telling them the legal goodbye letter from the corporation is the Indigenous Rights Act. It's the same as them writing the little note saying, it's been our pleasure oppressing y'all for the last 400 and something years. But due to what this nigga over here doing, we can't stay. Love to oppress y'all more, but we have to go now. That's the same thing. That's the summary of what the Indigenous Rights Act is. Right? So once all of these things come in, like they wasn't talking about the Indigenous Rights Act in the Moorish community a year ago.
How long has it been out? Because I literally just came across it this year when you mentioned it.
Yeah, the first one came out, I think it was like 2014 United Nations.
Yeah, that's a while ago.
Yeah, come on. And the other one was 2017 for the United States.
That's still a while ago. And people just now hearing about it.
No, it's certain people that's heard about it, but when I start explaining to them what it is, more people start to investigate it. They didn't know what it was.
I refilled that big little thing down there with door.
Okay, good looking at you.
Pops tied in
Yeah,
there's no more cans. This was the last can.
Okay.
I thought y'all, I ain't mean to hide the comments. Some comments I gotta click show. I changed the settings later. My fault, God. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we can go to the next question now.
Second question was, where's she at? From Sister Solaris. So what can we do in our communities to get the ball rolling?
Get as many of the elder women together as you can, and y'all become your city council. The mayor position is a matriarch position. That's why it's called mayor. Mayor is the female horse. And the March of the Mayors always lead the culmination of a meeting of the grants with the grand matriarch. Right? Now they don't do it that way. In their system, the mayor doesn't have the stroke that they used to have. Your mayor, all of the mayors in a territory, they call them states now. So all the mayors in the state used to go to the capital to meet with the grand matriarch of that territory or state. They call it a governor, right? The governor is the meaning of the Ottoman term bey, right? So the governor normally had a governor and lieutenant governor, which was a matriarch and a chief. The matriarch was the governor. The chief was the lieutenant governor who presented everything to the public. Right? Now, when all of the grand matriarchs from every territory come together, right, they form a different council. We call it a Senate or Congress. Right? That's the de facto corporation's version of it. Right? But we used to call it the meeting of the matriarchs or the matriarchal council, the council of the grand matriarch, depending from which part of the land we came from.
So another question tying into community is, so what should we as the daughters of tribes be doing? Does that just go back to the whole
ties
becoming
right
city
back
council?
into right. It goes back to the same thing. So in every city that we got a large population, we got churches.
Mm.
The Baptist church, the Protestant churches that's incorporated with our culture are what we call Holy Ghost churches, where they shout.
Mm.
And they all have a group of women called prayer warriors and church mothers, right? Each church pick a church mother and gather all of the churches. If you have a large Islamic presence, each one of them pick a Umi Islam, or Umi Dar Islam. That means the mothers of Islam, right? And they will form a council, and then the leader of them will connect with the leader of the church mothers. This don't no longer have anything to do with religion.
Mm.
We destroying religion by instituting spirituality, just like they destroyed spirituality by instituting religion.
Mm.
Right? So then we teach the sisters Sufism, because that's the ancient power source. It tells them how to turn the mitochondria on and how to turn it up to full capacity, and it changes the frequency of the whole planet. So they was allowed to take it from us, but they got men practicing it. The men can artificially raise their mitochondrial frequency, but it won't last when they leave unless it's with a woman. So when you see the Sufis doing their ceremonies, they are actually doing what you call mitochondrial activating ceremonies. The whirling dervishes, that comes from figure skating, spinning around on the ice, right? They just do it with no skates on. All of those things is designed to activate the energy field of the woman. Every woman is a Tesla coil when she's balanced, right? And the man become the battery pack. When you put the battery with the Tesla coil, y'all become a remote control for y'all manifest reality.
Mm.
What's the next one?
Next one is, what about the islands? What is our rights in this process?
The islands are ahead of us. They already ousting the rulership of the crown of England. They're getting from under the rule of the fake queen, and each island is supposed to have their own queen, their own grand matriarch or island mother. They used to have that until the invaders came.
Before I say the next one, speaking on the islands, you posted yesterday, speaking on Arawak and the Taino.
Yeah.
I was happy to see that.
Yeah, so those are some of the biggest tribes. You also had your Boricua, and a few more of them that made up the islands. The islands was resorts for us. You know how they use them for tourism now?
Yeah.
Well, you wasn't allowed to be a tourist on the island without bringing gifts to the matriarch. And she would send you back home to give your matriarch gifts. This is how we know our culture's been usurped. Because now people just go to the island with no regard for the people of the island, right? So when the tribe would do a family vacation from up here, Big Mama would say, don't go down there without taking this with you. And she'd give you a whole bunch of whatever, food stuffs that, whatever that island doesn't naturally produce that they can benefit from, that's what we would send them. And then they would send us what we call the delicacies of the island, which is their exotic fruits and their exotic arts and crafts. And they would send that back for Big Mama. And then Big Mama would give gifts out of those packages a lot of times. Right? So that was in our culture. We never went to nobody's house without bearing gifts until they gave us a Bible.
That damn Bible. What you call it? Where can the Nubian men go that want to tribe up in North Carolina?
Y'all, somebody have to be the spearhead, the first one to start it, right? That goes for anywhere. Somebody had to be the first one to start it in the local area. You know, it could be rallied around a farmer's market, or it could be rallied around a religious institutional building, but you're going to overthrow religion by instituting spirituality. Most of the so-called Muslims that's the converts of the last 50 years, they already know what's up.
Mm.
It's just the Christians that used to be like Malcolm, the Vernon Johns Christians, are now Martin Luther King Christians. Martin Luther King used a military strategy adopted from Mahatma K. Gandhi called civil disobedience. That means you can't tell us what the fuck to do. We're going to go where we want. It's our land. We're not listening to a de facto corporation issue us orders. Right now, we at the point where if the chiefs don't start stepping up and organizing, it all start with the family. Because they wanted to give us a one world currency from a centralized bank that was stationed in Switzerland. We don't want that, because that means that they still holding our wealth hostage. We want them to get the fuck gone and we can handle our own wealth. Well, in continuity of government, they are right now organizing how to divide up the wealth among family banks to decentralize the centralized banking system used to steal our wealth. Right? So if you're going to decentralize it, you have to put back the original structure. You know, so that's what we're working on. So somebody, anywhere you at, have to be the spearhead. You know, you have to be the first one to start organizing your local area. Right? I'm just telling everybody, all of the biggest chiefs, male and female, across the land are all on the same page. And my job is to inform the grassroots that we finna step back into the power. But not only are we stepping back into power, we reclaimed all our wealth. And we have the military support of the most powerful military in the world to enforce it for us when we claim our power. The only thing we waiting on now is critical mass of awareness that the old system is gone. Be aware that the old system is gone. Be aware that our system returns to oral tradition. And we put things in the public domain so we don't do that secret squirrel shit and motherfuckers selling you out behind your back. Yeah.
I put a little bit more water in it. This is called too.
Appreciate you, nephew. Right. So the organizing effort, the cheat sheet, right? Everybody, like, you can't mention tribing up to them. You just tell them that you want to be counted among the righteous, and you can talk to anybody in the Nation of Islam.
All right, so this one, it's like a statement in a comment. He says the Black community is already under matriarchy and things ain't looking good at all. When y'all speak about patriarchy, it'd be a good idea to separate European from indigenous patriarchy. The land is under European patriarchy, not indigenous. If we were matriarchal, that means that we got conquered under matriarchy. Critical thinking is crucial. Both matriarchy and patriarchy are one-sided. The two together make a whole. The latter is the solution, not the formers. And that was the end of that.
He partially right. And matriarchy did get overthrown. That's why we in this fucked up condition. And it was overthrown by women who wanted their mate to be rulers of the world. They come from a whole different psychological makeup than matriarchal people. What we perceiving as matriarchy, and this is why he's talking about two sides of the same coin. That's European matriarchy and European patriarchy. The European matriarchy is the woman has to manipulate her man into position to do what's necessary, right? Under our matriarchy, it's not about the man or the woman, it's about the children and the future. So when we start looking at the difference, he's looking at feminism as patriarchy, a matriarchy. Feminism is a patriarchal in-run around matriarchy. That's how they overthrew the matriarchy, because the sisters they deceived didn't know the difference, right? Because they was under the cultural conditioning of running the tribe a certain way, and when a threat comes, the chief stands out front, right? So we can't mix feminism with patriarchy because they're not the same thing. I mean, with matriarchy. Patriarchy and feminism, European patriarchy